So I always been involved with nonprofits as a youth to an adult. And one day a patient of mine, Woody Haynes, came up to me and said, "Richard, I want you to get involved with a nonprofit in Pasadena that serves the homeless." And I said, "Okay." And just across the street is what's called the Bad Weather Shelter at the Covenant Church. So one evening comes around and he calls my office during the day and he says, "First UMC is going to be at the Covenant Church at the Bad Weather Shelter. Why don't you come on by after work?" And I literally finished my office around 6 o'clock and I walked across the street. And as soon as I got there, they put me to work. I was assembling cots and I was in the stage area sorting out garbage bags, personal belongings of our homeless clients. And then the following week I had a meeting with the executive director, and then that's all she wrote. When I first met with the executive, Pat O'Reilly, they needed help with some fundraising. And so I said I would help organize and host a wine and cheese event. And that's where I first met Reverend Donna. So two of us got together and we hosted a wine and cheese event, and we raised, I believe, like almost $20,000 our first year. And soon enough, I was recruited to be on the board, and then a year rolls around where it was almost time to do another fundraiser, and they reached out to me and said, "Would you be interested in doing that same wine and cheese event?" And I did it with Reverend Donna, and that year we raised I think $40,000. So we doubled the proceeds from that event. A couple board members came up to me in the fall and said, "You know that you're going to be the board chair next year." Pamela Marks, who was the president at the time, was also politicking me to do so, and so I became board president. I'm very passionate about Friends Indeed. One of the main reasons why is that because I've had some board experience with smaller boards and bigger boards, that we impact so many people with so little resources at the time. The homeless population has been around Pasadena and our local community for decades. And so I get to be part of a team that actually get to change people's lives for the better. And then for that moment in time, we get to feed them, we potentially get to house them, we potentially get to clothe them. Simple, mundane tasks that you and I typically will go through on a day by day, but for our at-risk individuals, these are their survival. In my second year as a board member, Friends Indeed was approached by former Mayor Bogard to host the Pasadena Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. And I soon found out, as I was on the first committee meeting, and that chair was formerly Bishop Beverly Shamana, God rest her soul. She and I went to weekly meetings for this breakfast for months. We are the perfect nonprofit to encapsulate and include so many people of faith in a single room, where I felt that from a spiritual and religious perspective, what a great way. And I'm very proud that Friends Indeed continues to participate and be the host and leader for now the Pasadena Mayor's Interfaith Prayer Breakfast, because we practice what we preach, which is diversity and inclusion. So one of the things I was taught years ago, good leaders know when to step away. And when I became board president, our budget was $300,000 to $350,000. Fast forward to the 7 years or so at the end of my term as the board president, we ended up becoming a $1.5 million organization. And that piece is as a result of many, many individuals. It starts with the community. They have the trust and faith with Friends Indeed in serving our most vulnerable. It's our staff Then it goes down to our board of directors, who are very committed in the mission. And as our profile raised and as we continue to impact people, we kind of got into a rhythm and we kind of got into a groove. I'm just very fortunate and humbled to have been able to lead a good group of people. Our success, and I need to mention two individuals' name, is former board president Pamela Marks, who she and I met regularly at my office weekly to go over strategy, to talk about things, to workshop. And then when we were leaderless without an executive director, we asked former board member Reverend Donna Burns to serve as our executive director. And although she was supposed to only work part-time, she worked overtime. And so those two key individuals were instrumental in helping turn around Friends Indeed as well. So I will tell you why you need to know about Friends Indeed. Friends Indeed is one of those agencies that creates immediate impact to our most vulnerable neighbors. Our programming is second to none. Food pantry, the women's room, now our street outreach. My greatest hope, obviously, is agencies like Friends Indeed don't exist, because the day that Friends Indeed is put out of business means that people are housed, people are fed, people are clothed, and people are taken care of. It's more than just awareness that our at-risk population. I think educational goes a long way. Friends Indeed leads by example, which I think is tremendous for the things we do. People can get involved in so many different ways. We want you to introduce us to people. We want you to do the bake sales. We want you to do the food drives. We want you to volunteer at the bad weather shelter. We just want people to do good and let Friends Indeed be one of those nonprofits that you can partner and collaborate with to do good for the community.